So, my parents broke up before I was born. They weren't married or anything like that either. I'm not sure of all of the details, but what I do know is my dad settled down with my stepmom when I was 3, and my mom was not my stepmom's biggest fan. I know she made life difficult for them. I know she was jealous about my stepmom being introduced into my life while I was so young, but mom had primary custody of me back then, and had until I was 7 when I wanted more time with my dad, which she agreed to. I only know of the bad blood because of my stepmom. She would talk a lot about how possessive my mom was of me, how jealous she was, how she had treated them badly. I was even shown some of the stuff my mom had wrote to her. It annoyed me to be told because I had no idea my mom felt this way. She was willing to let me spend more time at dad's, which meant less time with her. She would let me call my dad or other paternal family members while I was with her. I can't say she didn't treat my stepmom badly. There is proof of that. But honestly, that doesn't change how I feel about my mom. I did choose to live with her full-time again when I was 9, because I hated being around my stepmom's constant need to bring up stuff to me. She'd try to use me as a go-between, and Dad wasn't great about stopping her. I'm a senior in high school right now, and my dad and stepmom keep talking about how I'll be graduating in May of next year, and how excited they are. I'm actually going to be graduating older than I should have because I got really sick in 2018 and 2019 and had to repeat. It was tough, which makes their talk even worse. My stepmom has told me how she doesn't feel comfortable with my mom being there after everything, and that she thinks I should be at the point where I help to protect them from someone who has caused so much heartache. I told her my mom would be there because I love my mom and want her to watch me graduate. Stepmom told me I needed to look at the bigger picture. I told her I didn't care what my mom had done to her, that she was still my mom and I still loved her. She told me that I would make the day very difficult for her, and that as a parent, she would hope I would want to make it easier for her. I told her she didn't have to come if she expected to be treated as the most important person there. She wasn't able to talk, and I continued by telling her that I would never pick her over my mom, and she needed to learn to accept that. She told me to get out of her face. My dad was pretty pissy about the whole thing, too. Am I the a-hole? Also, because I know it will be brought up, I talked to a couple of other people who confirmed that my mom has always hated my stepmom and did make life difficult for them. These are people my mom is close to. I have also talked to my mom, but she's very reserved about it all. But it is true that she did not like her and wanted to make life for them difficult. Not the a-hole. Regardless of how your mom felt or acted toward your stepmom, she never forced that view on you or even told you about it. Your stepmom doing this is extremely toxic and manipulative, especially given the young age you were when she started doing so. Tell her the only person causing drama is her, and if she can't put everything aside to be there to support you on your day, she shouldn't bother attending at all. Not the a-hole. Let's have a look at what is happening here. Your dad left your mom before you were even born, meaning he left her when she was pregnant. For the majority of your early life, it was just your mom and you against the world. He actively married someone who your mom despised. Of course, totally his choice, and made her your stepmom. When you wanted some time with your father, your mom never held you back. She was clear about her feelings, but she did not impose those feelings on you. Your stepmom, since the moment you started understanding stuff, spewed nonsense about your mom and showed you toxic exchange that was between them. You were not even a party to it. Going by your post, you were not told such things by your mother, and she kept you out of it all. Stepmom was and is actively trying to replace your mom, wants to be at the center of your graduation, and asks you to see the bigger picture, which clearly means she replacing her. When you set and enforced your boundaries, she threw a major tantrum and got your dad to side with her too, about your graduation, despite your hardships. This woman does not care two craps about you. She only wants to one-up your mother and hurt her by taking over what's left of her, her daughter. Your father also supports this expedition, fueled by hate and manipulation. To conclude, they are not good people. Your mother is definitely a better one. Have a happy graduation with your mom, and cut off stepmom if possible. All the best. Not the a-hole. Your mom may have been difficult in the past, but your stepmom's an a-hole for still trying to turn you against your mother. She needs to let it go and move on with her life. You deserve to have both your parents at your graduation, and you're right. If your stepmom cannot be an adult for the event, then she should not attend. About a month and a half ago, my wife was in a car accident that caused severe brain damage. She was awake for about 3 days before she had a stroke that caused brain death. I've always loved her, and I wasn't ready to let her go, so I kept the machines on in hopes that maybe we'd get a miracle. It was about 3 weeks around-the-clock care and vigil before I realized she wasn't coming back. She was only 47. We have 3 kids, a 17-year-old girl, an 11-year-old boy, and a 7-year-old girl. I let them all come and say goodbye, let the family and friends come say goodbye. This guy approaches me in the waiting area and asks if he can say goodbye to my wife. I've never met him before, no idea who he is. After some hemming and hawing, he reveals to me that he and my wife had been having an emotional and affair for the last year, and my wife was planning to leave me to go be with him. This is all new to me. My wife and I had settled into the typical normal family routine most middle-aged husbands and wives do, but I thought we were fine. She never acted any different. We still had S. We still did couple things, like cuddle and watch TV together, go on walks, carried on conversations. Yeah, I worked a lot. We both had a certain standard that we wanted to live in, so I worked hard to keep us there while she lived out her dream as an artist and an art teacher at our local rec center. Anyway, this little pissant, the guy she was screwing behind my back, obviously loved her. I mean, I'm not going to say I wasn't oblivious, because it was. He looked like a guy whose loved one was laying in a hospital bed dying. Kind of like me, you know, her husband. Anyway, this guy was crying and begging to be allowed in. My oldest daughter happened to come along, and now she knows everything. She's a bit of a pragmatist, my daughter, and told me to just let him in, that denying him access isn't going to bring her mom back, and who knows what the guy might do if he doesn't get closure. Yeah, I disagreed and escorted him out, told the nurses his description and said to not let him in or accept his phone calls. We ended up donating my wife's vital organs to science, so the last time we saw her was as they were wheeling her into the OR. She was cremated. We had a memorial celebration at the rec center where the students she taught all displayed art they'd made in tribute to her. It was exactly as she would have wanted it. The boyfriend came. I wouldn't let him in. No scenes were caused. I didn't even think anyone noticed. But my 17-year-old daughter, the spitting image of her mother, insists that I should have shown some decency and just allowed the guy in. Am I the a-hole for not letting this guy in to say goodbye? Not the a-hole. If he had any shred of decency, he would not have told you about the affair. All he's done is caused you additional pain you wouldn't have otherwise experienced during what was already one of the worst moments of your life. He lost his lover, but you lost your life partner, and now know she was going behind your back. It doesn't even compare. Not the a-hole. Your daughter has a very soft heart and probably never experienced the pain of being betrayed and lied to by a loved one. She'll understand you once it has happened to her. Not the a-hole at the hospital, and not the a-hole at the memorial service. Your daughter insists that you should have shown some decency. I know she's grieving, but the hypocrisy in that statement is outrageous. Duck that guy. I'll refrain from speaking poorly of the deceased. I, 23 female, have an ex, 23 female, who broke my car door from the inside. The whole plastic part of the door was ripped off, causing the door to not close properly. And subsequently, the car does not lock because of this. I had tried to get her to take me to the dealership when it happened. Just drive me there and back, and she vehemently refused. A dealership much closer to where I lived opened up, and was planning on taking the car there to get it fixed. When I went, I was told the repair to the door would cost about $600 to $800. When I asked my ex to pay for it, she said I was retaliating against her. I then told her I would look into taking the disagreement to small claims court to settle the dispute. Even if she paid for half of it, I would be happy. If she had just taken me to the dealership like I originally asked, I wouldn't have even asked for the money. I guess that's the retaliation aspect. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She should fix what she broke. But honestly, exes are exes for a reason. Better to just move on and cut her out of your life. This right here, not the a-hole. And I totally agree that she should pay for the damage. I'm an attorney, and you should think about whether small claims court is worth it. It takes a lot of time and effort, and once you receive the verdict, you still have to go back to court to attempt to collect if she won't pay up, and try and garnish her wages, etc. Might be best to just cut your losses and move on with your life. Not the a-hole. She owes you, since the door not working is her fault, but is apparently not willing to pay. So, that's the kind of thing small claims court is for. I've been married to my husband for 5 years, and with him for almost 9. He's very much a people person and attracts many people. I'm the complete opposite and keep to myself and choose where to exert my energy. He is the manager of a retail establishment that I also work for. He has become close to his co-workers, particularly one of them that I will call M. She has been a part of the company for a while, and much younger than my husband and I. I don't know her that well, but I can tell that she is attracted to my husband. What bothers me is that my husband seems to reciprocate the attraction and has lied to me several times about when he is with her, works with her, etc. If there was nothing going on, he wouldn't need to lie. He left his phone out, and even though I know that this would upset him, I guessed his password and got into his phone. I found messages upon messages between M and him flirting, making plans to see each other, her confiding in him and vice versa. Her name was at the top of his Instagram search bar, which tells me he checks on her often. I saw red and knew that there was something going on. They would meet during or after work hours, and his excuses were always flimsy. I'm pretty sure she has also been to my apartment when I was out of town. This all happened from March to August. I couldn't forgive him or confess that I went through his phone, but I didn't want to lose him. I went away for the weekend after and confided in a friend that knows about our marital issues. I was mostly angry at my husband and wanted him to grovel and confess since he kept lying to me. I made a fake Instagram account with my friend and messaged my friend saying that he was having an affair so I could show him the screenshots. He did not confess, but he groveled, and we had a good conversation about our issues and what we need to work on. I didn't realize that my friend was still continuing with the plan, and she started harassing him as well. I think my friend took it a little too far, and my husband went to HR to report this. M wants to go to the police even though there is no crime, but she is dead set on finding who it is. Her group of friends that my husband is also friends with are saying that it's me, and I can tell my husband is starting to believe them. Knowing him, he will not leave me or confirm suspicion unless I actually confess. My friend deleted the account, but my husband's friends and M are still talking about it and making plans to report this. Our relationship is getting better, and I know that I did something wrong and shouldn't have gone as far as making a fake account to harass M. But I don't like being lied to, and I'm incredibly sensitive to these things. Am I the a-hole for making a fake Instagram account to try to save my marriage? Everyone sucks here. I can't forgive him, but I want him to grovel, but I don't want to lose him. You could have been honest and above board with your husband instead of stooping to his level. Yes, the girl flirted with your husband, but your husband is the one who made you a promise, not this girl. If he had stuck to the promise you made one another, this girl would not have gotten anything from him. Everyone sucks here. Honestly, I'm doubting that your marriage is viable at this point. Neither of you seem to trust each other, and your husband is the one who made you a promise, not this girl. She sucks for obvious reasons, but you have handled this whole thing very immaturely. Your marriage is already over. Everyone sucks here, literally everyone. M sucks for knowingly getting involved with a married man. Your husband sucks for breaking his vows to you. Your friend sucks for harassing your husband's side piece. Your husband's friends and co-workers suck for looking the other way on his affair and trying to get him to turn on you. You suck for snooping, for catfishing the husband and his side piece, for lying to your husband, and for having no backbone to just straight confront your husband. This marriage is dead. There is no trust, there is no love, respect, or communication. Just lies and lies. My 14 female, twin, also 14 female, is 50 pounds overweight. I naturally have a high metabolism. My parents want us to all eat healthier, to help her lose weight. So they have forbidden me from eating junk at home or when we're out as a family because it'll be too hard for my sister to watch. We don't get along, but it has absolutely nothing to do with her weight. I don't care what she weighs. It's because she's manipulative, cries to get her way, and uses her bipolar disorder as an excuse to lash out at me. I know it's mean, but she reminds me of Dudley from Harry Potter, more because of her personality than size. She always calls me anorexic and skinny bee, and my parents expect me to just take it. She's jealous and has it hard, but heaven forbid I say anything about her weight. I did it once 6 months ago, but only because she kept calling me anorexic and wouldn't leave me alone, so I did it in self-defense. Then I was grounded for 2 weeks. I don't think we should have to do this one-size-fits-all approach, My boyfriend got me chocolates for my birthday, and my parents made me throw it out because it's tough for your sister, and we're all trying to eat healthier to support her. Plus, they are afraid she'll sneak and take the candy. But she sneaks junk food all the time. I don't snitch because it's not my business, although she always whines to my parents. It's not fair sister gets to eat junk food. So now I can't eat my favorite foods, even though it's hard for me to keep my weight up. While I'm happy to be emotionally supportive of her and even help her work out, I don't feel I should have to change my diet. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, but if you are struggling to maintain your weight, are you able to talk to your parents about taking you both to a dietitian? This way they can address your sister's weight and help you to maintain yours without it being at the expense of your own health. Going to a professional means that your parents then have it in writing how to best support you both. Not the a-hole, but your sister and parents are for allowing her manipulation and name-calling. It's not right that you have to change your diet and aren't allowed snacks you like when she's sneaking food you're not allowed to have. Not the a-hole. Literally tell your parents that she's sneaking food, and if she gets to eat junk food, so do you. Nobody should force you to eat or tell you that you can't eat something. That's low-key aggressive.